Isaac Newton, the architect of the cosmos. He was born on Christmas Day in 1642. That's the 4th of January by our current calendar. He was born in a place called Woolsthorpe Manor in Lincolnshire, England. His father had died before his birth. Due to his premature birth, he was very small. His mother, Hannah Iskoff, said he could fit in a drinking mug. When Isaac was 3, his mother married Reverend Barnabas Smith and left him with his grandmother. Isaac disliked his stepfather and was angry at his mother for marrying him. He even wrote that he threatened to burn their house down. Later, his mother had 3 more children with her new husband. When Isaac was around 12, he attended the King's School. There, he learned Latin and Greek, and likely received a good foundation in mathematics. However, when he was 17, his mother removed him from the school, as she wanted him to become a farmer. But Isaac hated farming. Fortunately, his former teacher persuaded his mother to allow him to return to school. Isaac worked diligently, partly fueled by a desire to surpass a bully. He became the top student in his class. In 1661, Newton entered Cambridge University. His uncle assisted him in gaining admission. Initially, he worked to fund his education. Later, he received a scholarship. At that time, Cambridge primarily taught the traditional ideas of Aristotle. However, Newton also studied the works of more recent thinkers like Descartes, Galileo, and Kepler. He recorded his own inquiries about the mechanics of the world. In 1665, he developed a mathematical rule and began work on what would become calculus. Shortly thereafter, the university closed due to a widespread epidemic known as the Great Plague of London. Although he wasn't considered a stellar student, Newton accomplished remarkable work independently. He developed groundbreaking ideas concerning calculus, light, and gravity. It's even been said that those 2 years were among the most productive in scientific history. Newton maintained meticulous notes, complete with alphabetical indexes, much like those used today. In 1667, Newton returned to Cambridge and obtained a fellowship. To retain the position, he was expected to become a priest, though this requirement was not strictly enforced at the time. He stated that he would either study religion and become a priest or resign. However, he had not previously given much consideration to religion. His teacher, Isaac Barrow, was impressed with him. In 1669, Newton succeeded his teacher, taking his position as a professor. Newton argued that this should exempt him from the requirement of becoming a priest, and King Charles II, whose permission was needed, accepted this argument. In 1672 and 1681, he published a revised edition of a geography textbook which aimed to integrate science with geography. Newton revolutionized mathematics, particularly with his early development of calculus in the 1660s. Although he later disputed its origin with Leibniz, his contributions were undeniable. Newton fundamentally changed our understanding of light and color. He demonstrated that white light is not a single entity, but a spectrum of colors, and that color is an inherent property of light itself. To address color distortion in lenses, he invented the reflecting telescope. While leaning towards a particle theory of light, Newton's groundbreaking work on gravity began in the 1660s, culminating in his Principia, published in 1687, which brought him international fame. This work introduced the 3 laws of motion and the law of universal gravitation, forming the foundation of classical mechanics. He used first and last ratios, a form of calculus, to explain planetary orbits and other phenomena. Newton also tackled complex problems, such as the three-body problem and the motion of the moon, which notably caused him great mental strain. He established a heliocentric view of the solar system, centered on the solar system's center of gravity. In his later years, Newton explored religious texts, even challenging certain biblical passages. He also served in Parliament. In 1696, he moved to London to become Warden of the Royal Mint, a position he took seriously. His efforts significantly improved the accuracy and quality of British coinage, saving the Treasury a substantial sum. Newton was also president of the Royal Society, but his tenure was marked by a conflict with astronomer Royal John Flamsteed over the publication of astronomical data. In 1705, Queen Anne knighted Newton, likely for political reasons rather than his scientific achievements. As Master of the Mint, he significantly influenced Britain's currency, effectively shifting the nation to a gold standard. In his later years, Newton lived with his niece Catherine Barton and her husband. On 20th of March 1727, he passed away in his sleep. He was given a grand funeral and buried in Westminster Abbey, the first scientist to receive this honor. He left no will, and his belongings were distributed among his relatives. A death mask was created, which was later used for a sculpture. Analysis of his hair revealed the presence of mercury, likely from his alchemical experiments, potentially explaining some of his unusual behavior in his later years. We remember Isaac Newton not just for his discoveries, but for showing us that the universe is a place that can be understood. Thank you for watching.